Hello lovelies, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, here I review movies, video games, and talk about horror movies and other sections of horror. If those things interest you, then click that subscribe button and join the other incredible people who've done so already. They're the best. Today I'm going to talk about MMORPGs I've played, and I've played a lot of them over the years. Most have been okay. Others got cancelled, so unfortunately you can't play them. I'm going to leave links to every game I talk about in the description, so if you are interested to know more about these games, check them out. Most of them are free to play. If they aren't free to play, sometimes you have to pay real money for more character slots, starter equipment, like potions, things like that, just to get you started. Others, you have to pay a subscription, but for the most part, most of these games are free. This might be a long video, just to let you know, too, because there's quite a lot of MMORPGs that I've played. So, Aeon, to get started, is, I believe, a Korean-based MMORPG. You get to make your character, and one of the most unique things about this game is that you got wings, so you can actually, well, what I was hoping you could fly, but you can't actually fly in the game. You can glide, but that's as far as it goes. It got kind of old fast for me because most of the quests starting out were almost exactly the same. Go collect this many of whatever, kill this many of whatever, and come back. That was pretty much every single quest. So it got kind of old. City of Heroes, I don't know if any of you remember, it I think came out in like 2009 or something like that. You got to make your own hero, or if you got City of Villains, you got to make a villain. I liked the character customization, but that was about it. It was pretty lackluster, and apparently it was canceled in 2012. So I guess it wasn't just me. Final Fantasy XIV, the character customization is one of the best, in my opinion. However, I got kind of bored pretty quick doing quest after quest. I kind of just want more. It is also subscription based, so you have to pay every month to play. I don't know if that changed, but I know when I first started playing, you had to pay a subscription. Guild Wars 2, you don't need a subscription, you just have to buy the game. And then you can play with a whole bunch of other people. I heard there's a new expansion coming out, and it actually looks promising, so I might come back. I don't know. It kind of is limited with races and gameplay for me, and that's kind of why I left. There's not a lot of customization options. It's very limited. The cool thing is, though, you do get to ride mounts, which is one of my favorite aspects in MMORPGs. I'll admit I have a bit of an obsession with collecting them in World of Warcraft. I've been farming the Blazing Drake for well over 5 years. I haven't been able to get it to drop no matter how many times I defeat Deathwing on Heroic. It's been driving me massively crazy because I just want to collect all the drakes to unlock the green drake. Yeah, it's the only one I'm missing. So it's been kind of frustrating. And I stopped playing WoW for multiple reasons, and I will get into that later in this video. Next up, we have Perfect World and Forsaken World, which is made by the same company. Perfect World and Forsaken World, I think I played the most besides World of Warcraft. I adored the races, the abilities, and the story is amazing. The customization is pretty good. I like the open world. I still kind of got bored doing nothing but quests, though. One of the best parts of Forsaken World is the fact that you get to be a vampire. And, of course, it's one of my all-time favorites. Of course I'm going to jump up and down for that. So I was super excited. And I still kind of play it off and on. And I don't think it's like a horrible game. There are some drawbacks. I mean, if you want multiple characters to try different classes and what have you, you do have to pay money to have multiple character slots. And it's an unfortunate thing. And I think you have to pay real money for starter equipment. I mean, you don't have to. I didn't. I think I paid for the character slots, though. And if it wasn't that game, it was Perfect World. Moving on. Ragnarok Online 2. That was a fun game. Unfortunately, I couldn't really get groups. I had a hard time. So I couldn't take on a lot of the bosses as I progressed because you needed a group. So if you have like a bunch of friends that wouldn't mind trying this game out, that's, awesome, because then you will actually probably enjoy this game a lot more. There is one drawback. You can't have multiple like different races. You only get human, and that's pretty much it, which is a bummer for me because anytime I play a fantasy game, I don't want to play as a human. I'm trying to escape from the real world where all I see is humans, so it doesn't immerse me as much if there were other races in the game. Rift was an interesting game, I'll give it that. I just had a lot of difficulties because no one really plays. Most people that play it already have progressed and have maxed out their characters. So in the beginning area, you have all these portals are opening on a farm, I want to say. I don't quite remember. But all these enemies are swarming out of it, and you have to fight your way through all of these enemies. And it wasn't that easy by myself, especially when you're level 1. They're expecting you to all have a bunch of players that are all fighting these monsters to make it a lot easier. Unfortunately, I was there with only 3 people. Yeah, that wasn't going to turn out very well. I died quite a bit. So did a bunch of other people. EverQuest, I found boring. I know it's one of the first MMORPGs, but it just wasn't my taste. I might try it again. I did try Runescape as well around the same time. Runescape was okay. It was another kind of boring game for me. It wasn't what I was hoping to get from an MMORPG. Star Wars The Old Republic, for me, was incredible when I first started playing. I actually got to play, I think the beta or... Yeah, I think it was the beta I got to play. There was one downside. The classes weren't well balanced, and I don't know if they still are unbalanced. I chose an Inquisitor tank, and I couldn't defeat a necessary boss alone, yet people with the DPS class of the Inquisitor could solo it. I was lucky to have found a fellow player with the same issue, so that was really nice. I've been thinking of going back, though, because it had an interesting story. It was unique, it was different, the companions were really cool, and the world was beautiful. And the fact that you got to travel to different planets, and you also had to farm off of some of these planets, or you had to send off your companions to farm for you while you were offline or while you were doing other missions. It was really cool. I liked the different classes. They had a pretty decent amount of races. I would have liked more, especially the companion races that are introduced. I would have loved to have been able to make one of those. The customization options aren't too bad. I think they could do more, but it's pretty good compared to other games that I've played. So if you like Star Wars, I would suggest trying it and just giving it a go and seeing how you like it. Tera was one of my favorites back when it first came out. I played that a lot. And then they made a bunch of changes and it just got a little too easy. I liked the difficulty that it was already at, and now it's just too easy. so it's boring. And they kind of changed the look of some of the races, so they don't look as good, in my opinion. But that's just me. I mean, other people may find it incredible, and that's great. It is free to play. It is another game where you have to, if you want more than one character or two characters, you do have to pay money for more character slots. Because it is free to play, they need to bring in that income somehow, and that's how they do it. There are other things that you can pay real money for to help you in the game. One of my absolute favorites, though, was Warhammer Online Age of Reckoning. It was a phenomenal fantasy game, and I was so devastated when it was closed. It was challenging, the customization was amazing, the races was great, the amount of classes and everything else, it was just amazing. The other great thing about this game is that the battlegrounds were realistic. There were literal battlegrounds in various areas that you traversed. To enter, you just walked right in and you just started fighting everybody. And it was a mix of NPCs and other players. So it was really cool. So I was really hoping that Warhammer might make a new one that was similar to that, but I don't think they're going to. I heard, and this is pure rumor, it could be completely wrong, I heard that Warhammer got sued by Blizzard, and that's why they closed the game down, because there were some similarities between their game and World of Warcraft. I don't know if that's true, but it's what I heard. If you know anything, let me know in the comments, because I am curious to know what happened to that game and why it got closed down. And this brings me to World of Warcraft. Now, World of Warcraft, I've been playing since Wrath of the Lich King, near the end of that expansion. I liked the difficulty of the game. I will admit the first class that I tried was a Night Elf Druid, and I was so confused by what to shift into, how to fight these enemies, using these shifted forms. It was so confusing and challenging that I almost gave up on the game. But I tried the Hunter and I instantly fell in love, and it's been my favorite class since. Now, of course, there are other classes that I really like, and all of them are ranged. I don't really like the hand-to-hand combat ones too much. They're usually at the further lower on my list, I should say. But the various enemies you fight, the story is amazing. The world is breathtaking. I just love it so much. But since then, the game isn't as fun as it was. It's too easy for me. I get bored so fast. There's just no challenge anymore. Even in dungeons and raids, there's just no challenge. There are, of course, plus sides. I'm one person who really likes the Raid Finder and Dungeon Finder because I've met some great people through that tool. Also, it made finding groups easier, especially when you're questing and you get to fight these humongous elites and you need like 3 people. Sometimes you need more to defeat some of these ginormous creatures. And now during the Wrath times, you had to pay people to join their groups for raids or dungeons. And you also risked getting screwed out of loot. It sucked, to be honest. I'm glad Blizzard implemented the Finder because I can save my gold. I don't have to spend it on stupid groups to do raids and then possibly not get what I'm there for. And I know a lot of people hate the Raid Finder and the Dungeon Finder. They call everybody that uses them noobs. But here's the thing, not everybody has or knows 25 plus people to run raids and dungeons with. I don't know anybody really that plays. Only 2 people, that's it, that plays this game. So that makes it really difficult. I did start a guild way back, I think during Cataclysm. I want to say Cataclysm. And I had a bunch of people there until Pandaria came out, and then everybody just jumped ship. And it sucks that so many people have left, because the game, for a lot of people, it's just too easy, and it's boring, and there's nothing new. I did try Classic, because I heard a lot of people love Classic, and it's so much better than the new game, and all that. However, I played the starting zones so much that I got bored real fast. I have tons of alts because I wanted to try every class and the different races to know their stories and, all that type of stuff and their lore. It's what made it fun for me, anyways. I'm hoping that, Blizzard, it'll get better. World of Warcraft, they'll make it better, but I don't know. I heard that they're going to be making an app version of the game, and I just think that is so stupid. But I don't know. It's up in the air. They may make just like a spin-off, kind of like Hearthstone and all that type of stuff. But we don't know. It may honestly be World of Warcraft, the app version, and it's going to be so bad. But I don't know. I'm hoping, and I've been hoping, like a lot of people, that they would have the Nagos in as a race, and it's been driving me crazy that they keep avoiding it. I don't know why they won't put them in. I mean, I thought that the BFA, I think it was BFA, when you go into the underwater world and you fight, I forget her name, Queen Ashahara. I was hoping that would be like the perfect time for them to add in the Nagas, and they didn't deliver. I was so mad. We got everything else but, in my opinion. Let me know what you think of all this. Through my search to find a better MMORPG, I've played all of these games. Some require real money for better gear and items, like I've stated. Others don't have a tool to help with getting groups to make it easier with questing or wanting to do dungeons, and that's part of why I haven't experienced more than just questing in these games. If you have friends or know people that love MMORPGs, you may have a much better experience than I have in these games. So don't take my experience as these games are terrible and you're going to have a horrible experience, because you may honestly not. You may have a much better experience. So check them out if any of these sound interesting. Like I said, I'm going to leave links to these in the description. I honestly almost have given up on MMORPGs because I don't play as much as I used to. And, maybe I'll return at some point. If League of Legends MMORPG does get released, it might bring me back. What are your favorite MMORPGs? What do you think about where World of Warcraft is going? Do you like the new World of Warcraft, or do you miss the way it was back in the day? What are your thoughts on the group finder, the raid finder, all of it? Do you think all games should have it, or do you think it's just not necessary and only noobs require it? Let me know what your thoughts are on all of these MMORPGs, or if there's one that you played that I may not have tried before. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to show your support. It is so appreciated. If you don't want to miss next week's video where I review the Spider-Man films, and I mean all of them, click the bell icon to never miss a video. Thank you so much again. Take care until next time, everybody.